Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, it's the old smart borders concept for dealing with the Northern Ireland Protocol. Doing the rounds again, I see. This is what some Tory MPs said we could use to deal with the problems of a hard Brexit without upsetting the Good Friday Agreement. And it was a bit funny that, okay, so now that Brexit's here and some of those same Tory MPs have been in cabinet, how come those technological solutions are nowhere to be seen? But the idea seems to be bouncing around again, at least in some areas in Northern Ireland. So let's look at how there's a reason why the Tories, who also backed it at one time, didn't then use it to solve their very obvious problems once they were in a position to do so. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So yeah, smart borders. I thought we'd done with this one. Apparently not. Smart borders exist, of course. It is a thing. It just doesn't do what the Brexiteers claim it can do. And I suppose there's a few people bouncing this around, but I was alerted to it via a gentleman by the name of Jamie Bryson, who is a unionist, but is not a member of the DUP or TUV as such, unusually. But he is politically close to their position. In fact, he has openly said in the past that the reason he campaigned for Brexit was to trash the Good Friday Agreement. So we always have to bear that in mind with any solutions to the protocol he comes up with. You know, we can see the same motivation, of course, behind those in the DUP, but they tend to be a bit cagier about admitting it. I think it's because they try and use the Good Friday Agreement these days. So it was the case, oh, we want to trash the Good Friday Agreement, we don't agree with this. Then they're given the protocol. Oh, no, we don't like the protocol. No, we must get rid of the protocol in order to protect the Good Friday Agreement. Okay, then. You know, that's what the DUP try and claim. Oh, the protocol's not right because it breaches the Good Friday Agreement. This despite being a party that campaigned against the Good Friday Agreement 25 years ago. But anyway, Bryson recently tried to commend a practical solution to protocol problems. Oh, that's nice. That's great. I'm all for people trying to put forward solutions, even if it turns out it's not actually going to be a viable one. Nothing wrong with that. But there is a problem with this. It works on the basis of Northern Ireland returning to the UK single market, but a system for preventing goods passing from Northern Ireland to the Republic of Ireland. And how does that work? Well, apparently it requires exporters to self-declare, okay, and for there to be criminal penalties for non-compliance. Okay. And how would you ever catch someone without checks? The thing is, we've seen this smart border stuff before. It's been flying around for years. The proponents always insist there will be checks because there have to be checks. You know, you can't just say to people, self-declare without any possible policing of it. There has to be some policing, risk-based checking. So where do the checks take place? Or how? Other than the magic of technology, they pretend it can all be done without physical checks. The technology can deal with it, but this is nonsense. Let's imagine you had this marvellous technological device that could tell whether a vehicle was carrying contraband or even a backpack. You can walk from one part of Ireland to another, you know. You know, where would it operate? On the border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Of course, where else could it operate? It's not illegal to move something from one part of the Republic of Ireland to another or one part of Northern Ireland to another, only between the two with this system. So that's where you'd have to have it. Uh-oh. And what would happen if it spotted something? Let's say it's an eye in the sky. It's magic. It's magic. You see right into your car. That is a bag of unlicensed medicines. It spots it. Goodness knows how, but it spots it. What then? Well, then enforcement officers would have to intercept them. So this solution, which doesn't actually exist in the real world anyway, and the way it fools people is because they'll say, oh, you use a smart board, and people look at, oh, smart borders exist. Yeah, we should use this. It doesn't do what they say it does. But it means that then people would be intercepted by the police or other enforcement officers for crossing between two parts of Ireland. Well, that right there is definitely against the Good Friday Agreement and certainly a big barrier to the peace process. All a non-starter. In order for the Good Friday Agreement to work, the whole of Ireland must be in the same market. It's really that simple. People can travel freely inside a market. They cannot travel freely between different markets under all circumstances. It's not possible. The Good Friday Agreement worked on the basis that Ireland and Britain were both in the same market. Common EU membership underpinned the Good Friday Agreement. The UK has left that market. So now we need another complicated arrangement. The Good Friday Agreement was already fairly complex as the scaffolding goes. So they needed a new complicated arrangement to make the whole thing still work. That is the protocol. Regarding the movement from one part of Northern Ireland to another, one part of Ireland to another, say via a convenient road which just so happens to go through the Republic of Ireland. So let's say you've got some medicines. It's medicines which are permitted in the UK, but not the EU. And you go along your road. You're going from one part of Northern Ireland to another, but at some point on the journey, you pass into the Republic of Ireland and you've broken the law. And Mr. Bryson says you should face a criminal penalty. So rather than be able to move freely around Ireland, as the Good Friday Agreement has stipulated, should be the case for a quarter of a century, he now thinks people should choose between having to try and avoid some parts of Ireland for certain journeys or risk criminal sanctions. In fact, it's almost literally saying people should run the risk of serious criminal convictions for passing from one part of Ireland to another. I'm sure that concept finds favour with some, but it's not really what the majority in either community thinks a good idea. And if Northern Ireland was in a different market to the Republic of Ireland, you'd create problems. Neither of which is going to support the Good Friday Agreement. See, the first is, so there are goods for sale in Britain that are not in the EU. So with this solution, that means there would be goods for sale in Northern Ireland not permitted in the Republic of Ireland, and vice versa. So you'd need a way of guaranteeing, to a reasonable level of risk anyway, that goods from Northern Ireland do not pass into the Republic of Ireland, or vice versa. But it goes nowhere. How do you stop goods passing from Northern Ireland to the Republic of Ireland, and therefore the single market area, with unfettered access across the island of Ireland? You can't. Someone picks something up in a shop in Armagh, drives along the A3. They pass across into the Republic. The road is now called the N12. It's the same road. It's now called the N12. You're just driving along this road. You skirt around Monaghan and you're onto the N2. You keep going. Suddenly that same road is now called the A5 because guess what? You're back in Northern Ireland. In fact, someone might use a similar route just because it's convenient to get from one part of Northern Ireland to another. Other than a road sign, no indication you've passed national borders twice with, you're driving along the same old road. Nobody was checking if you'd permitted goods in your car. That would be dead against the principles of the peace process. And regarding the movement from one part of Northern Ireland to another via a convenient road which just so happens to go through the Republic of Ireland, you take your goods, maybe some medicines, like I say, which are permitted in the UK but not the EU. You go along that road. At some point on the journey, you're breaking the law. And as I say, these people are now saying you should face fines, whatever is the criminal penalty. So rather than be able to move freely around Ireland, as the Good Friday Agreement has stipulated should be the case, it's like, no, you've now got to think to yourself, I can't go from this part of Ireland to this other part of Ireland because of something in my car. Then there's the other problem. So let's imagine this magical technological solution existed or could be developed within a reasonable time frame, let's say. Let's ignore that it's all rubbish. Let's pretend it could work. So you have this system which prevents goods being moved between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland without physical checkpoints or checks. Why do people think even that is in line with the Good Friday Agreement principles, like if not the language? There are multiple levels of unacceptability about this concept. The first is the average citizen isn't going to have a working knowledge of what goods are and are not permitted across the invisible border. So how are they to know what they may or may not freely carry around with them? Second, although I refer then to an invisible border, if you have to be mindful about what you carry as you pass over it, it's not really invisible anymore, is it? Which is dead against the Good Friday Agreement for free movement around Ireland. Third, why would anyone think that it's acceptable to restrict the movement of goods around Ireland anyway? Now, there is a reason why, if you think about it, and think about the people who push this smart border nonsense, all of them have a common thread running through them. They're all very right-wing, with a history of opposing the Good Friday Agreement. Because no part of the concept works. It falls down in practical terms. And even if you could come up with a powerful wizard to conjure up the necessary magic, it still falls down politically and socially. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.